Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. As you know, I'm taking a mediumship course, and somebody said to me, why are you taking this mediumship course when you know how to read cards, when you have the language of cards? Why are you changing something? And it really got me thinking, and I thought, why don't I take the tarot cards and apply them to mediumship? Look at my energy. I've been working with this all day. My energy is bang on. So Corey, are you here with us right now to help us with this explanation of mediumship and tarot cards? Corey, are you here? I know my husband's having a rough day today, so maybe he's more with him. He's like, hey, I've got my eye on you, but I got other things to do today, Mom. All right, and then he just said yes right there. I mean, yeah, you got it. So I think he's spending time with my husband. All right, so I'm calling this the Spiro Tarot, and a workbook of mediumship and tarot, how to bring them together. And anybody can do this. You don't have to be a medium. You don't even really need to know tarot cards with how I've developed this. And honestly, like, it was so crazy, the downloads I was getting on this. It was like, finally, you get it. This is what you're meant to do. So what I've done is one of the things is you pick a deck. And I know if you've been watching the channel long enough, you know my deck is the ethereal that I talk to the other side. But this is different. So you pick a deck and you stick with it. It doesn't have to be a new deck, but you have to stick with it so Spirit starts to get to know you, and you get to know Spirit, what they're trying to communicate through the cards. So of course I've picked the Angel Tarot cards, because you're talking with angels, you're talking with Spirit, you're talking with the spirit world. Versus the system is based on Rider-Waite, but that is like people in this world. And this, I never really connected with this deck, and I don't know why I've kept it around, and it practically jumped off the shelf when I came to pick which deck I was going to consecrate as my mediumship deck. And so I got the Angel Tarot. You can use any deck you want. New, used, whatever you want, just you have to use it consistently, and that's all you're going to use it for from this moment on. So what you do is you divide your deck into courts, majors, and pips, and you'll keep it like that forevermore. And there's no layouts, and it's just basically creating a storyboard. And so the biggest part of this was, how do you take that card meaning and make it something that the spirit world can convey to you? And it was actually easier than I thought. So first thing you do is you ask the court cards, who's here? So you take all 16 court cards and you mix them all up. I mean, of course you do your prayers, your grounding, your clearing, whatever you need to do, because you have to have the right intention. And it's not necessary that you do all of them. It's just that you're telling your conscious, your subconscious, you're telling the spirit world, we're calling you in. You're letting them know you're willing to communicate. So you're basically knocking on the door and say, hey, you guys ready? I'm ready. All right. So first thing you do is you call in, and you say, who's here? Who's here? So you pick out a court card, and we have a Queen of Air. So we have a female, possibly somebody who has been divorced or widowed, somebody who is very analytical. Some may either call them cold or narcissistic in some, or selfish even. They're very sharp. Could be very sharp-witted as well. Somebody could have been a surgeon, involved with the law somehow as a lawyer, judge. Also, swords are military. Could have been somebody in the military. They're air, so she could have been a pilot, a stewardess, or just really enjoyed doing a lot of traveling, but for the most part was a loner per se. Even if they were married, they kind of did their own thing. They may have had an unconventional marriage. How they pass, so then you go on about, so this is who we have, and we say, and how they pass might have been something of a nervous system, mental health, lungs. So nerves would be something like Parkinson's, or mental health could be they quite possibly could have taken their own life, but it could be lungs. Air rules lungs, so perhaps then pneumonia or emphysema, something like lung cancer. Could even be a brain cancer. Air rules the brain, so a brain cancer. Aneurysm is, it could be an aneurysm, but that's mostly with the blood, right? That's it, but it could be because it has something to do with the brain. Also, pulmonary embolism, like a aneurysm in the lungs. And so it could be any of those. And they're saying, well, no, I know who you're talking about, but it wasn't anything like that. Then you would pull a second court card, because the court cards, like I said, they can either be of the body, so how the body deteriorated or how the body ended, also describing them. And also air is a dark-haired lady. And I've got all of that in the cheat sheet. The link to the cheat sheet will be down below. So let's see, Queen of Swords, dark, sharp, immaculate woman, 40 and older, widow, professional, blade tongue, iron loyalty, and, it could be surgeries, surgical complications, and it almost would feel like they withdrew from life. They were like, hey, I'm done. I'm taking this exit ramp. Now, also other things, if you have like some of the clairaudience, clairsentience, sometimes I get scents. So if I started smelling things like cigarettes, strong coffee, heels, if I could hear like heels on a hard floor, or my spine strengthens up, or I'm even feeling cold, because air rules winter. And that would just be confirming who's here. But if she didn't pass that way, then you'd pull another court card and see what was afflicting the body. Now, the second court card doesn't describe them. It describes more so their passing. So now we have a page of earth. And a page of earth is their body is long illness, born patiently, inherited condition, and again, a time to say goodbye. So they may have come with a soul contract, but it doesn't look like they passed away from any kind of accident or anything like that. It would be a very slow genetic condition. So again, it could be something with like an ALS, that is, they are starting to find out it could be genetic, or Alzheimer's and dementia. That affects the brain, and that they're starting to look at the genetic component of that as well. But the page of earth tells us it was very lengthy. It was a very lengthy, drawn out death. So now they might be saying, oh yeah, that was my auntie. Oh, that was my sister, right? That was, not necessarily a mother. Queen of Wands is, Queen of Air, Queen of Swords aren't necessarily mothers. Your Pentacles and your Cups are more so your mothers. And Wands can be as well, but not necessarily. The Air and the Wands and the Swords are generally childless by choice. But this page of earth tells me it was a long drawn out affair. So this person may have had Alzheimer's or dementia, and that's how they passed. All right. So as I'm just showing you how you do that. So that's why you would pull. So the kings are men, the queens are women, The knights and pages are age, not gender. So the knights are 18 to 35, and the pages are childbirth or even pre-birth to 18. And then that's when you pull a second card and it would tell you what the gender is of that young person. All right. All right. So now oh, look at that. The clock agrees with me. Now we've figured out who this is. Oh, this was my auntie. And yeah, she did have Alzheimer's. It was or she had ALS, but lived quite a long time with it, or something like that. So they figured out who it is. So now we're going to pull a major and get more information about, because we want evidence. We want to make sure that the person that we're reading for really knows that this is their loved one. So now we're going to get some evidence and some messages. And of course, we're going to use the majors for that. So we use the court cards to identify who we're dealing with. If they say, I have no idea who you're talking about, then say, you know, good thing I'm recording this, because when you listen to this again in a week from now, or you tell your mom about it, your mom is going to say, oh yeah, that was so-and-so, and you know, she died before you were born. We get a lot of that as well. So that just would say that they died before you were born, and now they're your guardian angel. All right, so now we're going to see what kind of message and more information about this person, more evidence. And this could be about them, or it could be about you, right? So just even evidence about you. You know, what you do, because I don't know. All I know is your first name, right? I don't, unless you've been here a couple of times. So all I know is your first name. So let's pick a major. The Emperor. The Emperor. Again, this tells me somebody who lived a good long life. This is an organization and logic. That also tells me. Also, this is Aries. Aries is the head. This is reiterating. This is somebody who had like a head issue. So it is this person died of a dementia or an Alzheimer, and it lasted quite a long time. This is also telling me that they were a leader in their field, whatever their career was, whatever they did. Also is telling me they may have, like for example, let's say they were a lawyer and then they became a judge, that kind of thing. And I'm also saying it could be talking to you, that perhaps you're an Aries, or you're a leader in your field as well. So it could be reiterating that what they are, and you keep drawing these until Spirit tells you to stop. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4. But it's trying to give you evidence that they know that they're watching you, and also for them. This also could be telling me that you have stepped into their role. Perhaps they were a lawyer and now you're a lawyer, or, you know, or there's somehow a mentor to you, or you have, you know, you're in the family fold. Perhaps there was a family business and they're telling me you are part of the business. So let's pull another. And now we have release. And this is the end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on, death. And now we have an Archangel Israel. So this is telling me that perhaps you have recently lost somebody. Maybe perhaps you've recently lost your father. So this is telling, you know, perhaps she's saying you've recently lost your father. So see how just pulling one is very vague. The second one tells me that perhaps you've just lost your father. It will never say you are going to lose your father. It's giving me evidence that this person actually knows who you are and what's going on. So I think this is telling me you've recently lost your father. And this is possibly why you're here, because you want to hear from your father. This also tells me that this person, this is giving more evidence about this person. This person wasn't who they were at the end, and death was actually a welcome release for them. So again, I'm really getting an Alzheimer's or a dementia, because you wouldn't recognize this person at the end. And it would be very peaceful and loving for them to transition, because nobody recognizes who they are anymore. And this has been long and drawn out. So I'm going to pull another one. The World. The World. Again, another Saturnian card. Job well done, joy, contentment, gratitude. Again, this is telling me somebody really, this was long drawn out death for them. And also it could be for your father. So again, it could be something genetic, like I said. So perhaps it was a brother and a sister, your father and his sister ended up with some form of dementia, or Alzheimer's, ALS, Parkinson's, that kind of thing. But it was a welcome relief at the end when they left. This wasn't sudden. This wasn't unexpected. Of course, there's tears. I've always said that, you know, you want your loved one to stop the suffering, but the minute they're gone, you're wishing them back. I'm getting this kind of feeling. The person that I'm also getting that if it is your father in spirit, he's telling you that he has completed his mission and he completed his soul contract, and he's resting well now. And especially if this is your father's just recently passed away, maybe that's why your angels come forward and said, hi, I'm your auntie. I'm your big older sister, or whoever this was, and I'm here to tell you that, yes, your father is fine. He passed peacefully. He passed with content. He's completed his cycle, and he's resting right now. So don't take it personally. And maybe he's just learning how to speak through the cards. So that gave us a real complete picture. So I would complete that section of it. And now we're going to go to the pips. You know, if this is if you think this is you, because Spirit could be knocking on the door and saying, I've got somebody who needs to hear this right now. Like, so now we go to the pips. We get more information, more evidence, what's going on here. More information, more evidence of what's going on here. What's the message? Why is the Spirit coming through to tell you this, other than your father is resting? And he completed his mission. Could be grandfather, emperor, could be grandfather, father, but it's somebody who is dear and near to your heart. And on the other side, and if you say, no, my father's here, all my grandfathers are here, I have no idea who this is, then it's somebody who is important to you. And this tells me this is intergenerational, that you're a very, very old soul. And these people passed away before you were even born, and that was your soul contract with them. We have this right here, showing that their soul contract was to be your guides, to be your angels. So, you know, if let's say you have a real taste for real estate, look and see, did you have a grandfather or great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather that was involved in real estate or made a lot of money in real estate? You know, or, you know, are you really attracted to the law or politics? And that's because you've got that soul family cheering you on. Or perhaps you are right now. Perhaps you are a lawyer who went into politics. Well, they're telling you we are guiding you. You're everything is fine. Everything's in complete and perfect order for you. And you might be here because you think it's not. So let's pull the pips and find out some more information. A 7 of Earth, seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. That's another reason I like these cards, is because they do have messages on them. So it makes it easier for the Spirit to send you a direct message that you're going to understand. But you don't have to. You can have just the Rider-Waite's. If you have a special conversation with cats, or dogs or pets or animals. You feel like you can communicate with them. Spirit's going to pick the easiest way to communicate with you. So my spirits, my angels, actually, I'm a very wordy person. I love writing. I love reading. So they're sending me messages, and you can tell it even on my other cards. I always like the messages on the cards, and that's like Spirit saying, this is exactly what we want to tell you. So they're saying you have unnecessary worry. And we have a 7 here, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Ace of Water, falling in love or resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth, and enhanced intuition, a new home. All right, so Ace of Water is Ace of Cups, and that would be telling me March, April, May. Well, those months have passed. So maybe it's telling me that it's giving me evidence that in March, April, May, either you thought of buying a new home, or you thought of getting pregnant, or you did get pregnant, but something was significant that passed in this March, April, and May of this year. Maybe you did get engaged, maybe you fell in love, maybe you met somebody. So it's just giving you evidence. And now we have a 7 and a 1. So perhaps this queen who passed away at age 71. All right? Which actually fits in with that age group as well. Queen of Swords doesn't live as long as the Queen of Pentacles. That's the long life card. So she could be saying, I passed away at age 71. So you take the 7 and the 1. All right, let's give some more information here. And the cards can mean multiple meanings. They don't just have one meaning. They can have multiple meanings because Spirit's trying to communicate with you in through these cards, and this is how they do it. 3 of Air. Great sadness, take time to heal. You need to forgive yourself or others. This is 3 of Swords. This is the grief card. This is really the grief card. So this would reiterate to me too, somebody has recently passed. They have recently passed. And you're still grieving. And again, 3. So 3 months ago, right? So 3 months ago. I think, I would almost complete the reading at that point, because sometimes grief can block the spirits, not because you aren't vibrating properly or not. It's just because it's your conscious mind. It's your conscious mind, not your subconscious mind, is trying to keep you safe. And I think that's where I would stop it when I got the 3 of Swords. I'd be like, your grief is very, very new and intense, and these spirits came through to let you know they're looking after you. And even if you look at this 3 of Air, there's 2 horses and a little one. So I'm going to say it's this queen and this father, grandfather type are looking after you. And also here with the Ace of Cups is, there's your river of tears, and there will be healing. There will be healing. You can always pull one more card and say, is this the end of the messages? Or is there one more message? Is this the end of the messages? So they aren't saying we don't want to communicate with you. It's just 9 of Fire, don't give up, protect that which you've created, have courage and believe in yourself. So a 9 is a completion, so I would then complete. And I'm just going to say you're quite embattled, and I would complete the reading then. And then, let them know they've got 2 people here really looking after them. They are no longer inflicted by their earthly diseases. They're clear and they're focused, and they want to let you know, don't give up. They're with you. I would then just say, talk to them. One of the things I've learned is you just close your eyes, you take some deep breath, you put your hand out, and you ask them to take some deep breaths and say either hold my hand or put something in my hand or warm my hand or make my hand cold, whatever you want, whatever you feel, and let them know they're there with you. All right, so these are the readings that I will be, I'm going to give 10, I'm going to choose 10, and you'll see the post, how to apply in the community section. You have to be a member. So if you don't see the post, it's just because you aren't a member, and so you don't see the link. If you want to join in, go ahead and join in, and I'll be giving away 10 of these to start. I don't want to overwhelm myself. And what happens is I send you the recording back to the email that you provide. And then you give your feedback on it. It's not live. I don't get initial feedback, and there's a reason for that you learn in the mediumship course. Because number one, it'll chip away at your confidence. And most of this is just being confident in what the messages are. So if you want to try and be a member, I have a lot of members. I'm going to do 10 at a time. I'm not going to only do 10. I'm probably going to do, I suggest at least 20 to really get a feel of the cards and get the communication going. But 10 at first. So watch for that post. If not, try it with your own tarot cards if you're a tarot card reader. But again, put a deck aside and consecrate it that this is my spirits deck. And I'll have a link to the cheat sheet down below on what the cards and through spirit are trying to tell you versus what the earthly meaning of the cards are. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Please take good care. See you online. Bye for now.